Well, hello everybody. It's the Pearlo Wisdom Show, and you're listening to the Pearlo Wisdom Show. I'm Pearlo Wisdom. This is Peyton on the radio, the prize, and Steel, of course. We're getting the whole gang on here today. Thanks. How's it going out there, guys?
Do me a favor. And I'm doing great and glad to see everybody, but you got one of the lower thirds there in the way. Yours, Perlo. You have an extra one of yours.
Really? Okay.
It's like, yeah. It's like up over top of Peyton's underneath
Yeah,
his.
it's like right underneath my screen.
Where's mine?
He turned on Pinkman's face.
I don't know which one's which.
We'll keep turning them off. That's yours. Nope, the other one. Nope.
That's yours.
Turn that one back on.
That's
All right.
there.
Nope, that's your picture. Nope.
No, that's it. Now it's
Dude.
gone.
Nope, that's the background.
I know yours is
That's
still in. I
Steele's.
found it.
Nope.
There we go. Hey!
All right, winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Okay. So, anyways, Pittsburgh out, gone, and that's the first one I wanted to talk about because well, we've talked a lot about how Sullivan is a great coach and all of that sort of stuff like that, but what are you doing? I mean, how do you keep on putting Jari back into that game?
Who else you
It
got?
doesn't matter. Anybody,
Yeah, it's
seriously,
like the
just about
Smith.
anybody. He was that bad.
Yeah,
Actually,
but
you know what? Analytically, Pittsburgh deserved to win that
Of
game.
course.
I think they had the biggest chance to win that game. Like the probability was on their side, and yeah, they had about a 67 probability of winning this game. It's even growing up higher. It's around
Mm.
68% of the on the deserve to win o meter.
Oh yeah.
They deserve to win
Of
that
that's
game.
a
course.
good
They
way to
deserve
do
to
it.
win the whole
I
series.
love it. I
Seriously.
love using that meter. Oh yeah, without a doubt, Pittsburgh. Like a lot of the games that I watched, Pittsburgh played a really good
Yeah.
game, and this was like, how do you not play when the 36-year-old Jeff Carter's playing off the wall, and you have all these other guys playing really good for your team, and you're not able to muster up anything in this last game against the New York Islanders, and your goalie just absolutely does not bail you out? It was rough. Jari's glove hand is an abomination. I cannot believe they even kept him in there. Ola Pittsburgh is laughing at this guy now for how bad he played, and even his analytics. This guy, no matter what starts he gets, the bad starts are his highest thing. He is the worst goalie at starting the game, and his glove high hand sucks. He can't save anything up high,
Well, that's the
and
thing.
it was
Well, yeah.
rough,
That's the thing is he could
horrible.
at one time. He was. It was just after Murray left, it got. I think it got in his head. But yeah, yeah. I'd like to see how they do the video afterwards for players and stuff like that. It's just gonna be like the guy with that little stick pointing. So this is your glove hand, and it appears they're doing going there a lot. it's not just it's not just that his glove hand was exposed. By the end of this, everybody knew they were going glove.
Hmm.
He could have put his glove up before they even took the shot. Before they even did put before he even put his stick back to shoot, he could have put his glove up because that's where they were going. But that was the bad part. Jari had to know they were going glove side, and he still couldn't stop the puck glove side. I mean, when a goaltender is that far out of it, you put whoever you got in. You have to, like it. You have to.
Okay. Okay. I mean, because holy smokes, man. What? What? Like, are you kidding?
Hmm.
Ah. Well, here's another thing, and we talked about this on a little show we did here. I think something is up with the team in Pittsburgh because the big guns didn't show up. I know Malkin missed a little bit of time there. He missed a game or two, I believe, but Cindy Crosby wasn't his Cindy Crosby self. Malkin wasn't his self. Jeff Carter was the only thing there, and everybody else pretty much disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then the school was out on Jari. Everybody knew, hey, high glove side, it's probably going to go in. I mean,
Well, that's the thing that gets me is it's not just that he was having problems on the glove side. It's that they're going glove side now. Like after 2, 3 games, and you still can't stop it. That's what blows me away. Like they were going glove side
okay,
every
yeah, I
shot.
see what you're
You see
saying
what
now.
I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Like,
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
struggling on the glove side is one thing. A lot of goaltenders, that they're struggling on their glove side. But if you continue going there, they'll figure, okay, they're going glove side, so they'll be leaning that way, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
you've got to go another direction because they've obviously caught on to the fact that you think they're weak glove side. Jari didn't even do that. Like,
But that's what I mean. Yeah, that's like, how do you not?
yeah,
How do you not
Yeah.
address that? How do you not?
yeah.
You know
How
what I
does an
mean?
NHL goaltender not be able to come to realize that they're going to be going glove side all the time, and not be able to cheat to the glove side? Like where I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. His head was just done, done.
And well, Sorokin played a better game too. Like
Soros,
you got to
oh
give
yeah,
it to
Sorokin.
Sorokin was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the Islanders were just once they were able to figure out, Jari, they kept nailing it all damn game long. Like that Bouvillier, Bailey, and Nelson. Nelson was on the hot streak throughout the night, just ripping apart Jari throughout the night. 2 goals on the night. And Sorokin was amazing. He made some really big saves, especially near the last couple of games of the series once Varlamov got replaced because Varlamov wasn't looking the greatest. Once Sorokin got in place there, a 967 in the first game that he ever played, 929, a 916 in the third game, a 919, 4 games in a row for Sorokin, as he practically lifted the Islanders across the Penguins, and now will be taking on the Bruins, which should be another exciting series between those two teams, and we'll be able to see if the Bruins will be able to beat up Sorokin or not.
Sorokin is he put up. We've been talking about it forever. He put up Hextall like numbers in the KHL his whole career, his whole young career already.
Mm-hmm.
This is the only thing I'm worried about now going into Boston myself. He's playing the kind of hockey that it looked like he was going to play, and he's playing the kind of hockey
Mm-hmm.
that can beat a team just that. But the thing is, you're not going to have Jari on the other side with Boston.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, I mean, uh, it it wouldn't have really mattered, I think, if Pittsburgh would have won this series because you can't look at Pittsburgh and then look at Boston and go, well, I think Pittsburgh has the edge there on the goaltending side. Like, are you kidding?
No. Oh, Pittsburgh would never be able to make it past
So that's
Boston.
what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say. I honestly, I think Pittsburgh played really well. They had great momentum coming into the playoffs. They won the division. They
Mm-hmm.
played really, really well. I believe they were one of those teams that overachieved this
Mm-hmm.
year, and glaringly, their weaknesses were exposed by Trott's team. Coach team will do just that. Will expose you to what your weaknesses are, and the big names for Pittsburgh didn't show up. You didn't see Crosby on the score sheet very often. You didn't see Malkin on the score sheet very often. You didn't see Rusk on the score sheet very often, or Gensel, or I mean, all you saw was Jeff Carter and the like.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
there's
So
no
Crosby
doubt.
Crosby only had two
Crosby was
points.
injured. I, I,
I don't think Crosby
oh
was
yeah, he
injured.
was.
He was just he was playing more of a defensive
Uh,
role from what
he
I
was
seen. He was doing really
he was
great
injured.
defensively
I'll
throughout the
bet
year,
you
but
any amount of money he was injured. He wasn't going into his tough zones like he normally did. When he did get knocked down, it took him forever to get back up again. He looked injured to me. He
Hmm.
was playing injured to me. I'm almost positive of it.
I guess when he did get nailed in the front of the net, he was slow to get up after that one
Yeah,
point.
that's exactly what Pearlo pointed out was the fact that he was
Hmm.
a tad bit slow to get up
By the way, we got a
on.
video coming out about this series as well that we just
Ooh.
did this morning. Hi, Devondra, how you doing? Uh, Isles, bigger, stronger, faster theory. No, I see what you mean, Devondra, but honestly, you change goaltenders, Pittsburgh wins this series all day, and I don't even think it's
Oh
close. I
yeah,
don't even think it's close.
if oh yeah, without a doubt, if Pittsburgh had goaltending, the Islanders wouldn't have been in this series.
Yeah,
Sorokin was the highlight of the series because Jari couldn't save anything throughout the entire series. These games were high scoring games every single time. They were high scoring games every single game, almost, right? And every time Jari couldn't, live it up. Like game 5, he couldn't save that big goal in overtime. He practically gave it to the Islanders, right? Same with game 4. It was 4-1 Islanders, and Jari couldn't save anything again.
yeah,
Jari was horrible throughout the entire
yeah.
series, and he was one of the main reasons why this Pittsburgh Penguins team lost. Overall, Pittsburgh really doesn't suck. They had a lot of good components on the team. I thought the team was really deep. I thought they had a decent defensive core. Some of it was weak, like CC and Matheson. I didn't like that pairing a lot. But they didn't do terrible. CC wasn't terrible this year, not even that bad in the playoffs. Um, and Isles are great, but they're coached by a great coach in Barry Trotz. And if you take a look at the analytics, the Pittsburgh Penguins outplayed the Isles immensely. The Pittsburgh Penguins even deserved to win that series. Just Yorkin was a way better goalie than what Jari was.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah,
Uh,
in that one, the one we did, Steele and I did, we talk about what Pittsburgh is going to do now and all that stuff like that. So we will.
that's coming out after
It's
this
coming
show.
right up after the show, so you can check that out. As far as the game is concerned, we had some picks in yesterday for this. We'll see if anybody gets a Pearls of Wisdom necklace. I just got a spanking new line of Pearl of Wisdom necklaces. Actually, it's you're gonna like it. They're a little more
Ooh.
frilly. They're a little more swaggy. That's the word I like to use. You're gonna like it. Yeah,
Okay,
they're pimping.
cool. Well, how's this
What
for
was the
you?
score? What was the
So,
score again? Just
oh, it was
It
five
was
five to
five
three.
three.
5-3. Okay. Nobody had 5-3, and everybody had the Islanders. So that was interesting. Everybody did have the Islanders, but
Really?
nobody had 5-3. We had Steele. You were the
Wow.
closest, I think, at 4-2. Everybody thought it was going to be a low-scoring game, which is understandable with the Islanders.
Well, okay, but if it wouldn't have been for the Islanders and those two goals in 13 seconds, I mean, that's what they won by. It was 5 to
Hmm.
3. You know what I mean? So, it, when you score two goals like that, and now you're suddenly playing from behind late in the game, that's tough to come back from.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Especially when your big guns are not at full strength. Malkin was not at full strength. Apparently,
Hmm.
Crosby was either hurt or something. You know what I mean? He wasn't at full strength either, and so that's kind of what's going on. And then you have a goalie that clearly has a target on his glove side. I mean,
yeah,
that's too many stacks
it
against
was a
you. That's
weird
just too many
series,
stacks
and
against you.
really like it just comes down to you switch goaltenders, and even if you don't even switch goaltenders, if you take one of the Islanders'
Hmm.
goaltenders, Varlamov or Sorokin, even the lesser one, Varlamov, and put it in Pittsburgh, I think they still win that series. They just needed a goaltender. Jari was just that bad. Even just an average goaltender, Jari was just that bad. Somebody said Washington was Devondra said Washington is better than was better than Pittsburgh. Yeah, or sorry, Pittsburgh was better than Washington. Yeah, absolutely. absolutely. Pittsburgh probably would have had, again. Anyways, it's pretty simple as that. It sucks when you finish. I when I played, we made it to the finals one year, midget, and we were in the Canadian
Mm-hmm.
finals, midget finals, right?
Oh yeah.
And we had our number one goaltender uh, got hurt, and our backup was absolutely horrible. He was,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but in playing. You say you didn't always have you couldn't have good backups in midget and stuff like that because they would be on somebody else's team. Why would they be a backup, right? And we outplayed them
Yeah.
so bad and lost the series because you couldn't stop pucks. And I'll tell you, it just makes you feel sick inside. And it's awkward. It's awkward in the
Yeah.
room when you're trying to not say what the truth is. You know what I mean? You're not trying to hurt your
Mm-hmm.
friend who played terrible. Like I'm sure Jari's gonna
Right,
really
right.
feel terrible.
And then there's nothing really behind him. You know what I mean? Because DeSmith was hurt, but even still, there's nothing behind him. So I'm also pretty impressed with what the Islanders were able to do against Pittsburgh. You know what
Oh
I
yeah.
mean? It's not like you can't just sit here and say, oh, it's because Pittsburgh played badly. No, it's because the Islanders
Mm-hmm.
played very well against Pittsburgh. I mean, yeah, there were times when Pittsburgh outplayed them, but in the grand scheme of things, Pittsburgh is playing golf and Islanders are playing hockey.
I'm sorry, it sucks for
Mm-hmm.
the Islanders, I guess, if they want to think of it that way. I guess I don't know. They probably don't think of it that way, but they're going to have to listen to everybody in the land tell them that, say that if it wasn't for Jari, they don't win that series, and it's absolutely true. You can give them a pat on the back
I
and say,
guess
"Hey,
we'll
you
see
won,"
how
or
it
whatever,
is
but
once they go up against
I think
Boston,
they're going
I
to get
guess, too,
ruined.
because if they absolutely whoop the Boston Bruins, then I think
Or
once
play
again
well against
The
them.
New York Islanders is wrong. Yeah, even at that, I don't know. I think the way that Pittsburgh outplayed them did very good offensively, but it was because Jari just couldn't save anything.
Yep.
So with Tuukka Rask being in the back of the net and with the Boston Bruins, I don't know, man. It's going to be a tough series for the New York Islanders, but I never like to underestimate that team.
Sorry about the co host in the background.
Whatever.
No worries.
She's obviously expressing herself. So sorry about that. Look, the fact that Sorokin played so well and was the
Mm-hmm.
main reason why the Islanders were even in this series says a lot. And
Mm-hmm.
they will, as much as they exposed Pittsburgh, Boston is going to expose the Islanders. This was a hard fought series throughout the season. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
the Boston and the Islanders series was pretty hard fought. And these games, especially towards the end, were getting right chippy,
Oh yeah.
if I could use that technical term, right? So I'm expecting these game, at least the first game, to be rather naughty. That would be a good way to put that, right? I think there's going to be a lot of establishing who's going to be the alpha dog in this series. You know what I mean? And do the Islanders have enough to stand up against the likes of the Bruins?
Well, yeah.
During the regular season, they didn't do terrible. The Islanders played better than what the Boston Bruins were, but
Right.
on that point, looking at the regular season stats has been nothing compared to what has happened in the playoffs.
Agreed.
Seeing what happened between the Oilers and the Jets,
Agreed.
and seeing what happened between Pittsburgh and the Islanders, you never know what's going to happen in the playoffs. But I think just we underestimated the Islanders. I guess play every single playoffs, and I do as well. I always underestimate the team because I look at it on paper and I'm like, this team can never go anywhere. But then you got Barry Trotz, and he just makes it such a difference. And almost, I don't know. I think they could upset the Boston Bruins. Um, I just think they might have that team, and especially if Sorokin or Varlamov do great, they have two great goalies. Same with Boston if they try Swayman, but who knows if he's going to be doing good in the playoffs. But they got Rask no matter what, right? Rask is absolutely amazing for that Boston Bruins team. He's the back wall there. So it's I think it's going to be a real big goaltenders duel between the both of the teams. I think they're going to both play a two-way game, but if it starts going out on a who's going to score more, Boston's going to win that series no matter what. With the amount of talented players they have in Pasternak and Taylor Hall, and you know their back end's looking pretty good as well. They got a pretty strong looking team there in Boston. And
Yeah,
I feel
yeah,
like
yeah.
Boston has to beat the Isles just because on paper they have a stronger team. But the Isles, I could totally see them pulling off this series as well.
Yeah, I don't see it. I see Boston winning that all day. I don't like the way the Islanders match up against Boston. Even if they play their system really, really well, Boston's almost the same. And I like their offensive depth better. I like their defensive depth way better in Boston. I love McAvoy as long as he's healthy and all of that. Plus, you got Rask. On certainly on paper, Boston wins in just about every category. I think every category actually.
Hmm.
And but like you said, the Islanders have that Islander mystique. You got Barry Trotz who's able to find holes and
And
find
he's
ways
gonna
to win.
find holes in Boston. There's holes in Boston, and the Isles will find those holes. And Boston, I mean, we've seen it throughout the regular season with the holes that Boston has, and it's the fact that they don't score, they are gonna go quiet. And if the Isles can really shut them down and Sorokin can play a really good game, can absolutely shatter the confidence, I think, of the Boston Bruins. If, Trotz plays that type of game with the Isles and just, shuts down the Bruins, make sure they don't generate any offense. It could be really crippling, I think, for the Bruins. And we've seen it with the Vegas Golden Knights. We'll probably get onto that game later on where they're going on to game seven against the Wild. Exact same thing with the Vegas Golden Knights last season, where if you don't get those goals, it's going to be pretty tough to gain that momentum back into the series.
Yeah. Okay, we should go into other series now. Somebody was asking, Bill was asking about what you think about Edmonton. He's got a video. Go check it out, Peyton on the radio. If you
Also,
want to hear an
Connor.
epic rant, go check it out.
I was just gonna say, yeah,
If you
that's
want to hear epic rants, this is the place for you because
if you want to feel the paint
yeah.
blister on the inside, yeah, that's a good
If
one
you're
to
looking
watch.
for
Yeah,
everybody played nice and everybody tried really hard and all, you're probably gonna want to go to
that's not the video.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
no,
that's
don't watch
not.
that
This
one.
is
Yeah.
not the channel for you too. Okay, I'm gonna tell you right now. We have opinions here, and we go off, and you might get offended. I don't know, but if you do, that's the way it is. But it's gonna happen almost assuredly. And if you
Mhm.
want to hear somebody, yeah, go to that video, Peyton's video on the last game after the last game that the Oilers lost. Yeah, I think you might have expressed a little displeasure towards Tippett in there a little bit or something like that. You might want to check it out.
Yeah. Oh yeah, lots. Also, Bill T. I don't believe Connor McDavid will be leaving Edmonton. That's why he signed a big contract. Plus, he's on a no movement clause. So I don't see why he would want to leave Edmonton right now. They even said in a press conference that they want to be part of the problem that fixes this team. So
You're much,
I don't
yeah.
see them leaving for a while. Maybe after the contract, but even then, I mean, they deserve to go and win a cup somewhere
Yeah.
else.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get to the Florida game. This was really I admit I had Florida on this game, and I also admit it was out of heart more than head, no doubt about it.
Hmm.
Um, Tampa does look. Why do I hate this Tampa team so much? It's true. I hate this Tampa team. I don't know what it is. I can't stand them.
It's because the big bad villains, and they
I
won
don't
a cup
hate
last year,
teams
and you
very
just don't
often,
want
but
them to
I
win a
hate
cup
this
this year.
Tampa team. I don't know why. Well, maybe we'll be able to
Don't want
figure out
them to
as we
win the
talk
cup.
about this. So Tampa, it was the Tampa. And it's even like swaying my thoughts of who's going to win with them. I just want them to lose. I want them to lose so bad. But they certainly didn't lose, did they? They certainly
Ooh,
did not.
big
4-0.
old
4
loss.
nothing. No, who had? I had 4-2 Panthers. And who had the Lightning? Serrano was the only one with the Lightning. See, everybody wants them to lose. Everybody wants you to lose, Tampa. So just lose, will you? All right. Everybody wanted him to lose. Serrano got it right. Serrano goes against the got 4-2. Serrano got the 4-2. So I watched the game. Tampa outplayed them. They deserved to win. Blah 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 blah.
Oh yeah, dumb penalties. You know, it was a real domination by the Tampa Bay Lightning. Honestly, I watched a little bit of it, and they deserved the win without a doubt. They were playing a great game throughout it, and absolutely amazing game for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Like Steven Stamkos with an absolute bolt. I give it to Spencer Knight. He really did try his hardest to keep this team in the game, but that Stamkos goal beat him hard. And then Braden Point absolutely undressing some of the Florida Panthers defense. And I think they were definitely missing a little bit of Ekblad. I think the depth that they had with Ekblad kind of lost it out. So in the end, Tampa Bay deserved it. I should have chose Tampa Bay to win the series because I felt like they were going to win, but I went against the grain and tried to go with Florida, and just wasn't enough.
Okay, try to talk, Steele. No, you can't hear Steele all of a sudden.
That's weird.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Let me go over here to.
Do you have yourself muted, Steele,
I think he would have already tried
at the
that already.
bottom?
I can't mute him in any way.
I can't either.
I don't know what's going on. I can't mute him, so whatever he had to, so it has to be something on his end. Anyways, until he comes back, I'm sure it'll be figure out. How could it possibly not? Point is kind of like, okay, they need to defeat it near the end. Okay, so I'm going to really analyze what it is I don't like about this team. First of all, it's not really the players. It's not nobody on the. In fact, I like Maroon. I think it's
Hmm.
just because they relied on skill so much in the regular season. It was painful to watch. Like, and then all of a sudden they come out in this hard playing, you know, uh, take or play hard for every shift and everything they can get. Uh, okay, he's going to leave and come back on Skype and try it. Anyways, a
Okay.
team like Florida, yeah, and they win. And I wouldn't even say that they really they kind of outskilled them again and out goaltended them. Really, that was really what it was, right? I still say if they would have played Spencer Knight the whole time, they could have won the series maybe. But
Things that would have had to go right for Florida. Had to have, Aaron Ekblad
oh
was
yeah,
really weak without him. Having to rely on Anton Strawman and having to rely on Gustav Forsling to play 20 minutes a game was just too much. And that was the biggest thing. Like the Florida Panthers were the underdogs in the series, even though they did play very good. And they had what they needed to win. They just didn't have, the team to beat the very talented Florida Tampa Bay Lightning. And whatever Tampa Bay played a really tactical season. They knew that they had a team to go deep once again. They knew if they were to just play chillaxed and play a chilled game, because they knew that, well, whatever, we know we're a good team. We'll play through the regular season, get it done and over with. We'll rest Kucherov throughout the season, use the little hack that the NHL, like the things that we could do in the NHL, and use it that way. But it was a good job by Tampa Bay. And Vazzy, what an amazing playoffs he had. He really had a good game.
Yeah, I mean Vasilevsky was definitely. If you change goaltenders, and good point with Ekblad.
No, I still
For,
can't hear you still.
yeah, we still can't hear him. I know he's
Well, that's
still.
weird.
It is weird. What is it with Stu when we have him on here? He always seems to get canceled out somehow. Reboot. He's rebooting. I have to remove him and replace him, so I'll try that. How do I remove him on Facebook? Maybe on on Steel on Streamlabs. I'll take him off and put him back
No, you
on.
could just do it on. You could just do it on Skype. You could just remove him from the call. Oh, remove the NDI source. Oh, okay. Yeah, remove
Yeah,
that.
that's what I thought on Streamlabs, NDI source. Uh, which one is him again? That's the problem. I think he's that one. No, that's here. No, that's me. Of course, it's always the one that. Yeah. Okay. I think he means remove it completely too. No. Anyways, keep on talking there while I'm doing this.
Yeah, I can do that.
I know.
So yeah, well, the 4-0 Tampa Bay Lightning. I think we mostly talked about everything that we can on that game, but I really enjoyed the Tampa Bay Lightning. I didn't. I watched a little bit of it. I'm really enjoying Spencer Knight though. Spencer Knight has been having, amazing start to his career, which kind of brings up a little bit of a dilemma there in Florida. They signed Sergei Bobrovsky to $1 million deal, and now they have Spencer Knight, who will most likely play full time next year, and you still have a $10 million goalie in the background. I and plus the guy is signed up to 2026, and you have to sign or 2026.
Be some weird stuff going on there. What the heck are they gonna do in that? Like Bobrovsky, you can't. I still think the only thing they got is they have to hope that Bobrovsky gets it together because nobody's touching that contract. You can't retain salary for that many years. You can't buy him out. Like, and not only that, did you see Spencer Knight in the third period when I can't remember who it was. I think it was Nudavara.
Mm-hmm.
Nudavara fell down on that last goal on the third goal or something
Yep.
like that. And he comes out and gives him a pat on the back and says, "Don't worry about it, dude." You think Bobrovsky does that? You never see Bobrovsky do
No,
anything like that. All Bobrovsky does is talk
no.
about how bad his defense is and blah 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 blah. So not only is he bad, he's probably not all that liked in the room. He seems like a jerk, and you're paying him 10. So this Spencer Knight's going to be everybody's going to want him in, and he's going to sit there and sulk for $10 million a year. Wow, what a
Bobrovsky, well,
mess.
like he only went up by a couple percentage in his save percentage compared to last year, and they improved the team massively defensively. It went from a 900 save percentage up to a 906, and then a 323 goals against up to a 291. He barely even improved this season, especially with the upgraded defenseman and Mackenzie Weegar having a great year, Aaron Ekblad, and just everyone else there. It it's just I don't know. Bobrovsky had the highlight, but the problem was he had a really great playoffs and was kind of overrated just a bit. Definitely did not deserve that $10 million. He had a great defense there in Columbus, terrific defensive play there in Columbus. And I don't know, I think it was Dale Talon that signed the contract. Am I right about that?
What's that?
Am I
Who
Dale
signed it?
Talon
Dale
signing?
Talon signed that contract. Yeah, I think it was ownership driven, but although wasn't it Dale Talon? He overpaid for that French Chicago goaltender. I can't remember his name. That went off into the sunset. Oh, he
Oh,
was terrible too.
Cristobal Huet or
Cristobal
whatever.
Huet, yeah, yeah, he did that too. Then, so he goes a little. He seems to go a little off when it comes to goaltenders. Uh, oh, we got your friend implicit is in there saying that the Islanders are going to win the cup this year. Right after,
Right after somehow defeating the Islanders,
what's his name there
or
wins the Calder.
oh, who wins the Calder?
Dobson. Right after Dobson wins the
Oh,
Calder.
oh yeah, like Dobson will win the Calder.
Yeah, yeah. The Islanders win the
Uh,
cup. Dobson wins the Calder. Uh, Bailey gets the Selkie.
Bro, implicit, the Oilers are totally gonna win the cup this year, dude. We are definitely gonna be Stanley Cup champions.
Yeah,
Totally.
yeah.
We totally just didn't get swept in the first
We'll
round.
see what happens in Boston there with the Islanders. Um, and kind of the Islanders are a team. I'm a big Barry Trotz fan. He's like one of my favorite coaches of all time. But I can't stand watching the Islanders play at the same time.
No, I know.
I
Well, they just keep surprising me. I keep getting my mind.
That would be weird. It would make sense though, actually, in a way. But he's not going. But I mean, as far as it's kind of what they need is a one-shot shooter like that. They don't have one on that team at all, and that's the weird thing. Like Everly's not really that. I mean, who's maybe Wallstrom might turn into that a little bit, but they don't have that one-shot shooter at all. Are you? Oh, lovely. What is going on with this now? Okay, I think, okay, I'll get you back here in a second. Yeah, what is it with this? I watch everybody else's show. I was just on the one there, the Ice Guys or whatever. This never happens with them.
Hmm.
There you are. Move you over here. I'm trying to re-get Steel as we're talking here, but um, yeah, it's hard to I don't know. He's such a great coach that he turns out roster. There's nobody else. I don't think there's another coach out there that gets that roster into the playoffs and out of the first round. It's pretty impressive.
No, there's no way. The way that they've built their team there is just amazing, honestly. Especially with the way that Trotz coaches that team. Like they built it towards Trotz, and I don't think if they didn't have Trotz there, they would be a playoff team. It's just like Washington. If Washington didn't have Trotz here in that playoff run, they would have never been a playoff. They would have never won that cup, right? Trotz is a great coach, and can really just make the Islanders, can carry them to the Stanley Cup Finals. Totally. I don't see them doing it this year because they do got to go up against a lot of tough teams, especially offensively and defensively. And Boston's going to be one of them. I think it's going to be their next big challenge. If I was beat up Boston, their next challenge is going to be one of the big forces, either in the Hurricanes or maybe the Tampa Bay Lightning you might have to face, or Colorado or Vegas or. Of teams yet.
Yeah, it's not working. Anyways,
You're
yeah.
muted there, Pearlo.
Am I muted?
You muted yourself on Skype.
That is great. Where is? Okay. Okay.
There we go.
Anyways, so yeah. Uh, Enough about the Islanders. We'll do the Florida Tampa Bay series.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be doing a series on, and you might want to join us for it. Is like what are all the teams that are out of the playoffs going to do now? Oh, look, we have.
Oh yeah.
Okay, now I got to try to. He's back again.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you, but you're not.
I can hear you.
You're not hooked up to an NDI source.
Oh, goody. Sorry about that, guys. I thought I had all my updates done, but apparently I was wrong.
Oh, is that what it was?
Oh,
Yep.
Skype update.
Yeah.
Totally just
Nobody
blocked
else
you
can
off.
hear you right now.
Well,
Anyways, we're going to talk about what Florida's going to do now and all that kind of stuff like that. But it's just disappointing. Tampa now will be playing Carolina or Nashville. I imagine it's going to be Carolina, but I mean, I said Nashville was going to be tricky. I didn't think they were going to be an easy out at all, and they certainly aren't. I'm hoping Carolina puts it away tonight, and then I'm going to have. It's probably going to be a very emotional series for me, the next one, Tampa Bay and Carolina, because I am. I don't even think I'm going to do picks for it because I don't think my mind's going to be working. Carolina's winning. Got to win that series. Gotta. Just for my own mental health. Like.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I mean, I get what you're saying. Nashville has played very, very well against Carolina. They have played them well this year. They're like one of the few teams that might be like the Carolina Kryptonite. But I think what's going to end up happening is that they ran out of home games. And so this next game is going to be in Carolina. And that's why I think Carolina. Look, I'm not the prognosticator, as I've mentioned many times before. I picked Florida to win this series, and no, I completely underestimated Tampa Bay. Spencer Knight was he looked good in his first game, and then they pretty much said, "Well, welcome to the NHL, Rook." I mean, seriously, they completely had him out of position for at least two of the goals. You know what I mean? Where a more experienced goalie, I think, would have probably have made those saves because would have had more of that anticipation, I think. But all things said, I thought for sure that he would be able to at least take care of business. But it was a tough road to climb. Two games in a row they would have had to have won, one at home and one away. And I just see Florida coming out with that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, we heard it, so that's all that matters.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, Pearlo, I do see two steals up on the screen. No, I don't. I think I'm hearing an echo. I think I'm hearing an echo. I'm hearing an echo of my mic too on Streamlabs as well.
Okay. All we did was some technical difficulties. We'll be
Weird technical difficulties.
I'll say, man, I don't understand. Like suddenly Skype was like, yeah, no.
Hi. We're here to mess up your day.
By go to the
Go to the
properties
properties
and
and
change the
change the
properties of where
properties of
it's
where
being
it's being
selected from.
selected from.
I'm in
I'm in
stereo.
Hey, Takaki. How's it going, bud?
I'm in stereo.
We're having
In
some
the
technical
100%, I have this. Yeah, you might need. Yeah, okay. I don't know. Okay. Yeah. So you can't. Do well, go into the one that is the one that's on your side and pick it till it's you on the picture. Okay? In the source spot. But there's a list in the drop down box there of sources. All right. Well, pick one that's you. Okay, that's Peyton. Change that source to there's you. Oh, we see you. Oh yeah, all right, there's Peyton. And Pearlo. Okay.
I'm still hearing a bit of an echo, though.
Well, yeah, Devonta does do every show like this.
Just with a huge echo.
Okay.
Yeah, try that now. There we go. Echo should be gone.
All right.
Echo should
Okay.
be gone now. Okay. All right. So, anyways, that Carolina Tampa Bay series, I'm going to be as almost as into that as like the Edmonton winning, because I Carolina is my second favorite team in the East,
Yeah.
and Tampa's my least favorite team in the East right now.
Apparently.
And I still don't know why, but it doesn't matter. This is sports. You don't have to analyze everything. There's just something about them. I can't stand them. I don't want them to win.
Is it because
I don't
they
even know
won
what it
last
is.
year? Is it because, see,
That
I
never
think I know
bothers
what
me.
it
That
is.
never bothers me that they won last year. It never bothers me.
Okay, but I think I know what it is.
What?
Right? Okay, I think I know exactly what it is. See, Tampa Bay doesn't have that warrior mentality going into this.
That's right. I think that's it. Yeah.
Okay, they don't have
don't
that.
deserve it.
Gonna come in and crush you and stomp on you
Yeah.
and beat you to a bloody pulp,
Yeah.
and they're just not that team.
Yeah.
They're just gonna come in. They're just gonna come in and quietly just kick your butt, and then leave you trembling there in their wake as they move on.
That's it. They floated through the playoffs. That's it. They floated through the regular season. They relied way too heavy on Vasilevsky, and
but he let in a lot of goals during this series. Let's face it.
Yeah, he didn't even
he
play
let
all
in
that
a lot
well.
of goals.
He didn't even play all that well, and I think it's not even their fault in a way because with the Central you had these hard-working teams like Florida that just they fought for every inch to get in there. And it's like, it's like coming into this like, oh yeah, we don't even have to try. We'll just go in there and we'll take Florida. Then we'll go play Carolina. And maybe we'll try a little harder next time. And, I can't stand guys like you. When you got guys like Hornqvist and Bennett and out there not Van Riemsdyk, Vanderhage, you know what I mean? They're in the corners grinding it out every freaking moment. And these guys are just like, I would like to just win this game, and I don't really need. Let's try a little harder next time. Like, Yeah, that's why. That's why.
Okay. See, I told you I knew
Yeah,
why. I didn't mean to like. I didn't mean to like release the beast
yeah.
or
No,
anything
it's
here,
good.
man. I'm
It's
sorry
good. I
about
feel
that,
better now.
everybody. Well,
I
good.
feel
I'm
I
glad. I'm
feel
glad you got that out of your
I feel
system.
like I've been vulnerable. I feel much better now. Guys, what happens in the semi when you haven't played a team in a year or so? What's that?
Just you kind of just oh, he's talking about like be their game plan going up against a team that you have never faced before and never really built up a game plan towards that because I guess that we haven't really talked about that at all. But once you get up past these division finals, you're going to be going up against teams that you have not faced before
Yeah,
throughout the entire season. When usually you face that team about maybe once every year, maybe even none. Just depends.
yeah,
Now you have to build a completely different game plan against that team, and I mean it's going to be a challenge. But I mean these teams probably watch most of the games throughout the year and have to have an idea of who's strong and who's the weakest in the league.
uh
And especially if your team's really strong, you're going to be probably watching everyone and the higher up teams to see who you will potentially be going up against, so you could slowly kind of build a game plan against that team.
yeah. But what do you say, Steele? It's the other thing is about that is you haven't built an angst up against that team too, right? It's sort of like
Right.
maybe the first couple of games it'll take a little while to get the hate on for each
Yeah,
other.
because you saw that immediately in the Tampa Bay Florida
Oh yeah,
series.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Well, in the first three games, 255 hits. That's the first three games.
Holy jamoly.
That's so. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean? It didn't matter. The team is that good that they were able to just take care of business in Florida, and it didn't matter that there was 255 hits in the first three games. And none of that stuff mattered.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
What it does prove, though, in case any other teams out there are listening or watching, general managers, hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, you need physicality in your game to win you cups.
uh-huh.
Okay, I know it's Captain Obvious here. At least I think it is. Or should it be, maybe?
The problem is you need to find good physicality, not just
Ah,
guys that
keyword.
good physicality
Yeah,
players that do play good out on the ice 5 on 5 and don't just hit. That's the biggest thing, right? Like with somebody like, for example, a Ryan Reeves or even a Barkley Goodrow from the Tampa Bay Lightning. He's great defensively, but can play great offensively. Ryan Reeves, he used to play good offensively and defensively. Nowadays, he's sort of just your guy that goes out there and fights and hits, and that's all he really does out on the ice and doesn't really impact your roster, but doesn't play the greatest defensive game. Tampa Bay has tons of players that play physical and play a gritty game, but have great analytics and support, that great talented roster like Blake Coleman. Blake Coleman's a perfect example of a player that's chippy, but chips in a lot offensively, and he's so small, great analytically, and Tampa Bay Lightning was built rightly. And what Brisbois has done with just adding those sprinkles, little bits of physicality,
yeah.
Yeah, that's yeah. Good way to look at that one.
I didn't mean to put caps on that, by the way. I don't know why it was all caps, but yeah, yeah. You definitely, and those are hard to find. I mean, uh, getting guys that can be physical is one thing. I mean, we like
the
it's it's getting guys that can do both, and teams that find them pay for them. Chris Tanev in Pittsburgh, they paid a pretty price for that, 3.5 million, and he deserves it. That's the kind of guys that you're looking for. He can play. Like Dave Lowry in Winnipeg, he's got a contract coming up right now. What do you pay for him? His value is not on the score sheet. You know, his he can play. He's a great defensive center, and he can bring the pain. And those guys are extremely important in the playoffs. Another guy you met was Coleman in Tampa Bay as well. That was a nice pickup too. Um, So
Savard was, or Sod or whatever that. What was his name? Savard was the guy that they picked up at the trade deadline
yeah,
too.
yeah, he's a good defenseman for sure.
But I mean, that was that they were able to pick up that player at the trade deadline to give them a little bit more of that. You know what I mean? It's like, I to be honest with you, if Tampa Bay plays against Boston,
Mhm.
Uh,
right, that I think would be a serious. I mean, I don't know. I think I would. That would be a tough one to call. I think if that's how that works out.
I just hope it doesn't.
Tampa Bay would win that series. The better defense than what Boston.
So you think that's what I was just gonna say. You think that Tampa Bay would win that?
I think Tampa Bay might beat Boston, but I don't think they're going to beat Carolina. It's going to depend on Nedeljkovic again. That's the thing. That's the really thing about Carolina. It's always been that way. It's always going to be that way until
Has I'll
I don't know. It's that's gonna
we
be
know
keeps going in and
yeah,
out.
I'm going to try to read.
Yeah. So I like what. Oh, now it's all fuzzy.
Is it?
Yeah, it's all fuzzy now. Like it's all blurry.
Uh, well, I'll just keep on going. Yeah, it's weird how that is. I think Carolina would be. It's Carolina Tampa Bay is going to be the series. This is really going to be it. Whoever comes out of that.
if it would line up.
But the thing is, Boston may and New York fast enough that they again get rest again, and then it changes things a little bit too.
Wow. I don't know, man. It's all like it looks
But
it's blurry and it says that it keeps muting Peyton.
Yeah, well, I think that's his connection. It's just his connection. We're going to be going to
Okay,
our
but it
break here right away. Maybe we'll just take a little bit of an early break and we'll go.
yeah, see if
Zoom
we
is not an
can.
option because you can't go over an hour. But like I said, I watch other shows. They never have problems like this. Never. So I don't understand. Yeah. Anyways,
See if the
so
I
we'll
don't know
see if the
why it's
commercial
blurry.
works.
I don't know why it's even blurry.
It's because his connection is like he always said he was going to have problems with his connection, right?
Yeah, but it okay.
That's why.
But, but
Pretty sure
okay.
that's why. Anyways, but okay, we'll go to a break and then we'll come back and we'll do. We didn't even get into the Vegas game. We'll go to the Vegas game and then we'll get into the games for tonight and all of that stuff. So. Um,
Greetings. This is Steel Flyers from the Steel Flyers All Sports Network, and we have two very special guests. We are delighted to be joined by Tracy Musser and Nicole Howard from the Canine Country Club Resorts. Tracy and Nicole are both managers for CCC Resorts and work at the Windsor or at the club, one of two locations both in Manheim, Pennsylvania. Congratulations on your 30th year anniversary of being in business. Let me start off by saying this. Steel Flyer stands behind this company 100%. Taking care of Steel Flyer's furry friend for the last 2 years now, and they are a one-stop shop for everything your furry friend needs. In fact, let's find out what our friends at CCC Resorts offer. Nicole, how are you today?
Good. How are you?
Doing great, thank you. What are some of the great boarding services that you guys offer, and what do we have to do in order to get our furry friends taken care of when we are unable to travel with them?
Well, we like to bring everybody in for a tour first. That way they can see the behind the scenes, they can see where they stay, they can see where they play, and then we explain all of the fun things that we can add on to their reservation, whether it be one of our packages, either a nature walk, a ball time, or even a cuddle time.
Oh, wow, that sounds great. Boy, it sure sounds like a resort to me. So, how are you today, Tracy?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Tracy, tell me, is it true that you guys have both an indoor and an outdoor pool at the Windsor location?
It is true. We've got one of each, so we're able to offer year-round swimming. The indoor pool is a great option for dogs who are swimming for therapy or rehab. It's got that sloped entry so they can wade into the water. Our outdoor pool is a little bit larger and it's 4 foot deep the whole way across. And both of them are saltwater pools, so it's really easy on the dog's skin and coat.
Wow, that's very awesome. So then during the summer months, you have a much deeper pool outside and then a sloped entry shallow pool indoors for the dogs. Tracy, tell the folks how we can get some pool time.
Well, the first thing everyone does is come for
I still see the commercial up. It's
There
not
we go.
running.
Should be going now. Give it some time. It's coming.
All right, there we go.
Yeah, so everybody can hear us right now. Hello, everybody. We are back. Yeah, I don't know what the internet is. Peyton's gone. We can't get him back, so we're just going to go with Steele and I for the next little while here. Uh, we're going to go with Steele and I for the next little while. Probably we lost everybody here. So we'll go into the Golden Knights and Wild series.
Did you turn off Peyton's stuff?
Yeah, well, I will. Don't worry about it. But I was just really surprised that they played a trap last night. That had me. I said yesterday they're gonna have to pull something out that I've never seen in order to win that game, and they sure did. They
Yeah.
sure did.
Can you turn off Peyton's stuff?
Yeah, I will. Don't worry about it. I'm just keep on talking as I try to figure it
Okay. So, yeah, now it's running smooth. Okay. Hey, Peyton is in the chat. So, sorry we couldn't have you on the show.
out. Anyways,
Um,
yeah.
but
I was, and not only did they play the trap, they played the trap perfect. Like it was pretty impressive.
well, they had to. I mean, they had to because they had to win that game or else they were going home.
Well, I know they have to. I'm just surprised they were able to. It's not easy to play a trap game. It's a team system game, and they never played it all last year. Everson came in at the end of the playoffs last year, so they learned this through the season and played the trap better than teams that play the trap all the time. Like it was incredible. Dean Evison to me in has now may have pushed himself up into the best coach in the NHL right
I mean,
now.
I can't argue that.
That's insane.
I
It's
can't.
insane.
Yeah.
Like I never thought for a second they had a chance last night, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, they're playing the trap, and they're doing it effortlessly, like perfectly.
Okay. Well, you know what? You fool me once. I don't
Yeah,
think they're going to be able to do it again. I think
yeah,
the tape's
yeah, they're
out on
gonna.
that.
Yeah, well, we'll see what they do against Vegas now in Vegas, right? It's going to be in Vegas. It's harder to play the trap on the road because you're further away from your box,
Yeah,
right?
the last change is further away.
The last change and you're further away for most of it, so that's going to be
Yep.
difficult. I'm still going with Vegas, but I was extremely impressed with how they played that game last night. That was really like that was real amazing, amazing. I never saw that coming.
I mean, I tell you what, I like. I was really rooting, but Vegas. Everybody's like Vegas, 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 and I'm just like, well, I'm more of Colorado, Colorado, Colorado.
Yeah, I'm starting to lean more Colorado because I don't. I think if Minnesota would have tried like what they did last night, also Vegas made them look that trap look better than it probably was too. I think if they tried that against Colorado, they would have had more trouble. Um,
I
so
think
I
so.
possibly uh, Vegas, like I was saying, we were saying before that we went on the stream. I think if there's one thing with Vegas that is a bit of a weakness, is they don't seem to adapt to change very well, uh, or as well as other teams do. Let's put it that way.
On the
Like
fly.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, like during games, they're not adapting during games. So like they have to wait till after the game to make the adjustments. And even then those adjustments are a little slow to come by too.
yeah. Well, we'll see what they do now because if Minnesota tries to trap them again at home, I think they should be able to counter that pretty good. I don't think that they're gonna. I don't know. I don't know. I never thought they were gonna go to the trap. I never thought they were gonna do an old school 1-2-2, and in like a hybrid old school 1-2-2. I never saw that come. I never saw them do it before. That's why I said they're gonna have to pull something out I've never seen before,
Well,
and they
guess
did,
what?
and
They
they did it
did.
extremely well.
It
Yeah,
looks like they achieved the goal there, man, because
that was an impressive win.
I have to
Very
agree.
impressive.
That was quite impressive. I was not expecting that. Because everybody all we all picked Vegas, right? Most everybody picked Vegas.
Uh, yeah, there wasn't as many people in the chat there. We all had Vegas. Yeah, everybody had Vegas on that one,
Right.
so
So, but
nobody got
that's
to
what I
screw
mean.
over it.
You know, look, I really think that you can fool them once with the trap, but I don't think you're going to be able to get away with it in the next game. You're gonna you're I mean the school's out, the tape's out, whatever the case is. Fool me once, ha ha, but I don't think they're going to fool them twice. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
I think Vegas will be ready. You know what I mean? And if you
yeah.
just play a more physical game, if you run that over, you can beat the trap if you run it over. And
Well, you
if you
got to
have
be
that
able to.
speed,
Yeah, you got to be able to dump and chase well if you're going to beat a trap. You got to dump and chase and use your speed well. And I thought Vegas should be able to do that. They have the players to do that, but they didn't last night. They didn't do it well, and that's really why they lost. I don't think they played horrible though. It's not like they were completely overmatched. There was times in that game when Vegas had the upper hand quite a bit, but
right?
I was just really impressed by that move that what the Wild were able to do that when I hadn't seen them do it in a game before. And
Right?
that's what was impressive to me that they just turned and said, "Let's try this," and do it so well.
Exactly.
It was pretty amazing.
It is. It is. And but so that was impressive and everything, but I still think that they're not going to necessarily be able to get away with it in this next game.
No, I think Vegas wins the next one. But then I thought Vegas was. Who knows what Minnesota will be able to pull out
Well,
now?
they're not going to be able to pull it out at home, that's for
No,
sure.
well, it's not going to be. They might not go with the trap, but maybe they got more stuff I'm not aware of. Like who knows what they may go with? I don't know. I gotta say, it was very. All I gotta say is that was in a very impressive trap system, very intricate trap system to play. That takes a whole team game. So that means they were practicing, 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 and as far as I can tell, never put it into practical use. And then the first time they do it, they did it as well as they did. To me, is really fantastic. Really
I, I
fantastic.
I get what you're saying, and I understand it. I'm just not. I think they were just trying to pull out the last stop to try to help save their season, and that's kind of what I think is going on here. But I could be wrong, and I am
Lauren, Lauren,
usually most of the time. So there you have it.
yeah, Vegas is a puck possession team, and they will have a puck possession team will have to make adjustments when it comes to the trap. There's no doubt about that. But those adjustments can be made. Puck possession teams beat trap teams all the time on a regular basis, and I think they were just taken by surprise. I don't think they saw it coming either. Yeah, and like you
Oh,
said,
I
now they
agree. Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah.
Now
I
they
agree.
know. Now they know, and
Hmm.
they're like, it was like bringing out the secret weapon that nobody knew existed. Just like, what? You know, it's like in the NFL or in football when they play that play that nobody, nobody knew. It's like they know, nobody knew it was coming. They'd never seen it before. Yeah, that was sort of what they did against Vegas last night. It was pretty cool. Uh, LB will come out with the chip. That I agree. Yeah, for sure. And it's not like Las Vegas looks tired or anything like that. They just got mystified by that trap.
I agree. I agree. But I believe I did see that there was the vice president was in the house too. I think I saw. So
Oh,
thank you.
really?
Yeah. So thank you everybody for joining. Thank you everybody for checking us out, man. Really appreciate that. We're sorry about all the technical glitches and stuff like that. We're sorry that we weren't able to have Peyton continue on and join us, man. I really like Peyton's insight and all the great things that he has to say because he looks at the game a little bit differently and I just like the insight and was looking forward to today. So we're sorry we couldn't bring you the prize, man. But I'll tell you what, you stay tuned. And we'll get you some.
I think it was more to do with the fact that we are just doing with three of us. I think and while he's out there, we're gonna have to stay away from that. It'll just have to be the two of us because we never had any problems when it was just the two of us the last time. So we'll
Well,
get
so
rid of.
there, it's all your fault, Peyton.
Yeah, it's just that he's in
Sorry,
his
dude, man. Like
northern
that's.
BC there. So
He's way up there
anyways,
now. Once he's up
we should
there.
we should probably get to. We got what 2 games tonight?
Yeah, 2 games tonight: Toronto and Montreal. And
Any any specific news that has rolled in here? Toronto, Montreal, and what's the other one again? It's
oh, it's Carolina, Nashville.
oh yeah, right. All right. Okay. Since we got a Carolina fan here, well, no, we'll start with the Toronto one. Why not? We'll start with the Toronto one because I don't think that it's going to be. I think everybody's going to be on the same page there. I could be wrong, but I can't see Montreal being able to do anything against Toronto. The second round of this playoffs will start on Saturday.
Oh, well, see, that's exactly what I had originally thought and predicted that they would start on Saturday because the last game for Vegas, I believe, is Friday, right? That's the final game for Vegas. That's game 7, right? And game 7 is for Montreal is what? Saturday,
Uh, yeah, yeah, I
right?
think so. Yeah, yeah,
Okay, but the Edmonton game has already been decided, and we all think that Toronto is going to decide tonight's matchup as well too. So that would make perfect sense for them to start things on Saturday.
yeah, yeah. So, yeah, so that's where we're going to be doing huge there. I got to get on a stream. I haven't got on the stream these playoffs with uh, the goat yet, or somebody
Yeah,
maybe pay. I can't. I'd like to do it with Peyton, but I don't know if it's going to work
I
with
know.
Peyton.
You know what? We might have to just do one here. We might have to
Yeah,
just. We should just do one. Why not? We should
yeah.
do it.
I can try to do play by play. I'll see. I'll go in
Oh,
my.
come on. We
I'll
can
go in
do
my
it.
room. I'll
We
go in
can
my
do it.
room and do it. Have you ever seen Hot Takes Hockey do play by play? He doesn't really do it. He kind of does it for a little while and he stops. Like he barely does it. I can do that, and
We
he's
can try.
successful.
Hey, we can try, man. We're out there for the game. We're live, man. What would be the problem?
Yeah, yeah, we could try. Uh, Islanders plus 150 game. Okay. Anyways, yeah, I would want to. I don't care which one I stream. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I
But
don't either.
Montreal versus the Leafs, and we're gonna start on Montreal versus. Is this in Montreal? I don't even think. No, it's in Toronto, isn't it?
If it's game 6, it's in Montreal.
Oh, it is in Montreal. I don't think it really matters. But if you guys want to put your
I think
picks
that's what
in
it
for
is.
that, Montreal, Toronto, put in your score and who's gonna win. I say Toronto 4-1. I'll put my first down. I don't usually do that, but Leafs 4-1.
Yeah. So game 5 is in No, it's in Toronto. Yeah, it's game 5. So they played the first 2 games in Toronto, then the second 2 games in Montreal. Now
So
this game
this is
goes
in
back to
Toronto? Oh,
Toronto.
yeah, they're going to win.
Yes,
Yeah,
this is in Toronto.
this is over. It's over tonight. It's over tonight.
Gonna have to agree with you on that one. I have to agree. I mean, Toronto has just played better. They've been the better team. It's been their division. It's been theirs to lose since the beginning. Seriously.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, ever since the beginning of the season, they've taken over the first place and they haven't looked back. Matthews has how many goals, right? In how many games? Amazing stat, amazing player.
Yeah.
Okay. We didn't think that Toronto was going to be good enough to win the division, which they did. Then we were like, yeah, they probably won't make it out of the first round. Ha! Except that they're probably gonna.
Somebody,
You know.
somebody in your notice they said, "Do you think that Vegas is so good that they purposely lost to go to Game 7 to make more money?" I don't think so. I don't think so.
Purposefully lose?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a tough call on that one, especially in the playoffs. And we're talking about going to the Cup.
No, I don't think so.
I think you would
No.
take a little bit more shine to winning it in the other team's building.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like
Yeah.
he just think they just think they're so good that they're gonna take them no matter what. So get that extra Game 7 money and move on to the next one. Nah, there's no way, no way you're gonna risk injury or anything like that, like that. Yeah, because if you don't go, how many games is the next one gonna be? So
Right,
yeah,
right. Yeah, I wouldn't want to do that at all. Yeah, I'm reading that now too. It's like, yeah,
we
I'm with
haven't
you.
got to the Nashville game yet, Reed. Sorry.
Um, yeah, we haven't gotten there yet, but if Toronto wins, which we think they're gonna,
Yeah,
right? That means now they're going to be playing against Winnipeg,
yeah.
and that's going to be a whole different ball game
Mhm.
for Toronto.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so I don't think that's not quite the slam dunk
Right
as
now, I'm
this
leaning
series is.
Right now, as we speak, I'm leaning Winnipeg for that series.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Mm-hmm.
JP took 2-1 Leafs in OT. Okay, they're gonna keep it close.
Yeah, man. I don't think so. I think this is gonna be another one of those games like 4-1. That's just what I think. That's there. There you go. There you have it. I'm saying it. 4-1 Leafs.
Leafs 4-1, same as me. Yeah, I think it's gonna be something like that too. Looking, did you see they pan? I was watching one of the television sports programs, Sportsnet, I believe it was, and they were showing a bunch of shots of the Montreal bench. And I don't know if I ever remember a team in the playoffs, especially, look so defeated. Like they look down. They look like they all need a Prozac right now. Like it was bad.
Whoa!
Like,
We're not advocating that
and
they
that's
do that.
poor coaching. Prozac's an over the counter. So
Well,
I'm just,
let me ask you this question, okay? Didn't they change coaches halfway through the year?
yeah. Oh yeah.
Do
Yeah.
you think do you think if they would not have changed coaches, that they would have still made the playoffs if they would have not have made coaches if they would have stayed the same coaching staff? Or, because they fired the goalie coach too and all that. Do you think if they would have kept those guys, they would be in the same spot they're in now?
If they would have kept Julian, yeah,
Yeah.
I think they probably would be in the same. I don't know. No, it's hard to. Julian's a heck of a good coach. to replace him for him, from what I've seen so far, no disrespect. I don't want to disrespect any coach that's in the NHL because
Agreed.
you've obviously done a heck of a job getting there and everything. But I mean, we're talking about Julian. He's won cups. He's done. He when he got fired from Boston, his team had the best possession stats in the league. So I don't know what happened there, but if you're as I would definitely think they would be better off with Julian, no doubt about that.
Okay, so that's what I was asking you if they would have been better off.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Whatever was going on in that room, though, Weber maybe maybe not. I don't know. Julian had obviously put his foot down on something in that room and wasn't bending. So maybe that was the right thing to do. It might have been a him or me type situation going on there.
Yeah, I mean, it very well could be. It very well could be, but what are you going to do? You know what I mean? You're kind of in a rock and a hard place at that point. You know what I mean? What do you do?
I don't know. I don't trust anything Bergevin does. So I don't know what was going on there, but if it's Bergevin, probably it was an over. Probably they panicked. Probably, more than likely. I mean, if you look at the moves that they made in the past and the things they've done in the past, pretty much points to a lot of panic decisions, panic moves, panic
Well, they
stuff like
made a
that.
lot of moves. Montreal made a lot of moves in the offseason.
Uh huh.
Okay. And we commented on, and we had pointed that out multiple times that they had made a lot of moves. Now, they still maintain the same coach and everything like that, but they still made significant moves to their roster this year. Right. And we all thought, well, yeah, Montreal, with all the moves they made, there's no practice time. The training camp was all, weird and whatever, whatever. And we didn't feel that Montreal was going to even be remotely that good. And they came out in their first 20 games. They didn't lose 12. They won 12 or didn't lose 12 in regulation out of their first 20.
Yeah,
And they came out of the gates flying.
they ran on emotion. Yeah, the first 12 games.
Right. Yeah. And so thinking, okay, well, that's cool. And then 6 games later, they fire the coach.
Yeah.
Like,
So I
you're
don't know.
halfway through the season. What are you doing?
Like I said, my lean is that that Julian had a problem with Price. It's the only guy I see them firing the coach in that spot. Price seemed, I don't know what's been going on with Price. That I can't see anybody else. He's not going to have a problem with Weber. Uh, I could be wrong, but that's the only one thing that makes sense. It seems this is the thing. Montreal has done everything up until this point to make Price happy. And Price has not been good for 2 years except for one playoff round last year and a little bit this year. So, as a coach, it probably drives you absolutely bonkers. And maybe is starting to get ahead about himself after basically a whole organization has ran their whole team built around you and you alone and giving you every inch, every rope, and never once said Price is struggling right now or something negative towards him. They hold him up like he's some sort of god there. And as a coach, and then maybe he's got a head about him, and he says something back to Julian. Julian's an old school coach and says, "You can't do that." And he goes to ownership and says, "What are you going to do about this guy? I can't do anything with him. He's not playing well, and he's acting like he is playing well." And they're saying, "Well, you can't do anything." And he says, "Fine, then they're out of loggerheads, and eventually they have to lose him, bring in another coach who's going to toe the line, and you see what toe the line brings you? Nothing. Garbage. Again, I think it's going to be garbage, garbage, garbage for the next however many years, as long as Bergevin is a general manager, and whatever the ownership has they're doing, they have been doing for now 5 years. I don't see anything changing in Montreal. They might get lucky though because They have Suzuki and Kokiniemi there. They got Toffoli, Anderson, and those kind of guys like that they just kind of put together. Possibly when those two centers grow, this team might be decent, but I still don't like their defense. And if Price keeps on playing the way he's been playing most of the time, they're going nowhere.
Plus, I got Cole Caulfield too, so I mean, their future has potential to look bright. Montreal's does, but I agree. If they don't get the right coaching up there and being able to put those guys in the right spots to be successful, see, look, I'm with you. I agree. If you're an NHL coach, you got that's a good job. I mean, you're a smart person, and the whole 9 yards. However, being an NHL coach or a coach of a sports team, you open yourself up for much criticism, especially for those of us in the media, because we are the most perfect armchair coaches and
Yeah.
armchair general managers and
Yeah.
armchair quarterbacks for that matter.
Yeah.
And we always know better because, well, we see things differently. You know what I mean? But look, when you look at the numbers, when you look at the analytics, and that's where we have to start with our conversation about things, is we have to look at the analytics and we have to look at the numbers.
Yeah.
When you look at the numbers, you see, well, gosh, Montreal probably would have won the same amount of games if they had the same coach. They probably potentially could have still made the playoffs, maybe even could have been better. Who knows?
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is that, this is the hole that this team is in. And the only way they can get out of it is they have to get out of it themselves.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Like I said, we'll see what happens here. Weber's not getting any younger. Uh,
They need to lose those big contracts like Price and that kind of stuff because he's not living up to it, right?
it's never gonna happen.
And he's never gonna anymore now because let's face it, when you get older, you don't get younger. You don't get as you're not playing as well as you get older. You know what I mean? And so he's got this really big, ugly contract that's hanging over Montreal's head.
Mhm.
You know what
Now,
I mean?
okay, let's say for shits and giggles, I was the general manager of the Montreal Canadiens. Okay,
Hey, it's McWorld. It could happen.
it's Mick World. Yeah.
Right?
Uh,
He did stay at a Holiday Inn last night.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's about it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what ownership is, but take all that out of it and just look at it logically. It's been two
Yeah.
years. Is it possible that somebody out there, maybe, I mean, Price is from the Vancouver area. I don't think he's going there. But Seattle's not far away. And my team hasn't been able to draft a first round pick for a very long time, or a draft in the first round for a very long time. How am I going to get rid of this $10 million contract? Is it possible I could staple a first to Price and send him over to Seattle and get rid of him and start rebuilding this team? That's really what I would do. And do you say, well, you have to get rid of a first? Yes. Maybe not. If I can be less, great. But any general manager worth his weight in salt that has been watching that team knows this guy has not done anything for 2 years. And the worst part about it is the organization acts like it's not happening. That's what I'm trying to say. The organization acts like it's not happening. As a coach, as a coach like Julian, you're sitting there going, "Hello, we need better goaltending," and they go, What? What are you talking about? We got Carey Price. He hasn't stopped a puck for 2 years."
He stopped the puck pretty good in the playoffs
Oh,
last
for
year.
a
He played
small amount
well.
of time he played, yeah, whatever. But for the most part, for a short time, for one series, that your $10 million
Okay,
contract.
I
played
mean,
well.
look, all right,
Mhm.
calm
No,
down.
no, I like doing that. It's fun.
I know. But look, I'm not taking anything away from the fact that he's a Hall of Fame goaltender. He's a first ballot Hall of Fame goaltender.
Hmm.
Okay. But we're at that point now where you have to make that decision where, maybe I shouldn't be strapping it on anymore. You know what I'm saying? And a team that has that player, unfortunately, sometimes you have to be the bearer of the bad news,
Hmm.
and you have to be like, look, man, we're sorry, but you haven't stopped a puck in 2 years, and we're paying you $10 million a year to stop the puck, and well, we kind of need you to stop the puck a little more. So
Yeah, and then the problem is if you're a coach like Julian and you're saying that, and they act like you're, offending their you're offending their young their firstborn. It's you're gonna go. It's that is the problem in Montreal is they act like things aren't happening. You know, they don't come out and say we need more from Carey Price. I've never heard him say that before. I've never heard him say we need more from Carey Price. How do you not at least say that in the media or something like that? It's they this if you keep on pretending he's a good goaltender, then he'll become one apparently. But I would be that. That's what I would do. I would try. I'd put it. You got Suzuki. You got Kokaniemi. You got a lot of young people coming up. Keep Toffoli and all that. Build that around there. Blow that $10 million over to Seattle if you can. Find the best goaltender you can get, and start drafting goalies like crazy and try to fill that hole. But at first, you got to be honest that you have a problem. The problem doesn't get solved until you actually believe you have one. I think I think
well,
I think Tocchet goes to Seattle. I think Tocchet goes to Seattle
you
after.
think so?
Yeah, I
You
think so.
think so? All right. So the next series that we have to talk about is the Nashville Carolina
Mhm.
series.
Mhm.
And I know why this is emotional for you because Carolina has the warrior mentality.
Yeah.
And Carolina, because their coach does.
Yeah. Brendan Moore. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So I understand why you like this team. I like this team because of their coach Brendan Moore. I got a distinct honor and privilege of watching him play in Philadelphia for a number of years, and got to see that pretty up close.
Mhm.
So that was amazing. And then he basically transitioned himself from being the player that he was on the ice to being that particular type of coach. Where if you look at his teams, they outwork you, they out hustle you, they outskate you, they beat you to the puck. I mean, they have that ethic about them. I mean, it's exactly what you said. It's that warrior mentality. I get it, but they also have that I'm gonna outwork you mentality. And see, that's what I like.
Yeah.
Okay, I like a team that's just going to be like, look, if you look at some of the old Steeler teams, and and you look at like Jerome Bettis is running the ball, you knew Jerome Bettis was going to be running the ball.
Mhm.
You knew it. It was coming. You saw it,
Mhm.
right? The formation was there. You saw it. It was coming. When the ball was hiked, the ball was handed off to him. The problem was is that you couldn't stop him.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's what I think is going on here. You need to be able to stop them. If not, you're just going to get run over. You
Yeah.
know.
This is in Nashville tonight, right?
Oh, is this game 6?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is game 6. This is in no.
Or is this game 7 tonight? This is game
Wait a
7.
minute. This is game 7. This is in Vegas. Or no, this
Yeah.
is in Carolina.
Carolina. Okay.
No, this is game
Yeah,
6.
it's in Nashville. That's what I thought. It's
It's
not.
in Nashville, right?
It's in
Okay, right.
Nashville. Yeah. Okay. Well, anyways, if you guys put your picks down there for this one, Carolina.
So yeah, it's
Uh,
in Nashville. This is actually I'm a little bit surprised about this at such a late start, 9:30.
mhm.
Like who starts a playoff game at 9:30 at freaking night?
Well, for me, it works out well because I can. It's gonna. I'm gonna be able to actually watch it. It's not gonna be blocked out by the Blue Jays game. That's for.
Okay, I get it, but I don't understand why
That's
this game is.
probably why because you're gonna get a lot more Canadian viewers. people are going to watch it more because it's not going to be blocked out by the Blue Jay game. So people will watch it. That's probably why.
I
Mer-
just don't. I
Mercy.
don't understand. I don't understand. That doesn't make any sense to me at all. Okay.
Two
Uh,
games. And when there's already the first game is early, right? So they don't
yeah, but
over.
that's the Toronto mod. That's the
So they don't
Toronto
over.
and
The games don't overlap each other.
okay, I get it, but I mean,
It was broader
they're not.
audience.
Oh, they actually. I think they're actually going to be on the same network, which is why you'll be able to
Back to
watch
back,
it.
back to back. There you go.
Yeah, which is why you'll be able to watch it. Okay.
3-2
Well,
Nash for Devondra. Okay, so this is really hard in OT because Nashville's going to continue playing that. It's not even a trap. It's like being on the penalty kill when you're a 5-on-5 a lot of the time. And Carolina hasn't been able to figure it out. And Toronto, Montreal gets the spotlight. Yeah. Well, the Blue Jays are on right now. Oh, what am I doing? I should be watching that right now. Yeah, but they're finding ways to win there in Nashville. Just and Saros is insane. I'm not sure who's going to win this game. I'm really not sure. I had Carolina winning in 7, so I suppose I should say Nashville to win this game, just so I can say that I did pick Carolina
that's what
in
I'm
7.
going to say. I'm going to say Nashville because they're in Nashville. I'm going to say this is going to be one of them 4-3 overtimes.
Okay, 4-3 OT.
I really like Carolina. I've been touting Carolina for quite a long period of time. I have Carolina meeting Colorado in the Stanley Cup Finals. I really think that Brindamore is going to win the Jack Adams Coach of the Year trophy this year. I just feel that he's more than earned it and he's more than deserving of it. The fact that he was re signed to a pretty nice little contract for him, and the fact that he has this team in a position where they are right now. So it's hard for me to bet against that, or even to pick against that, or whatever you want to call it, because I don't bet. I don't. I
Yeah.
don't put my money. I don't bet. You know what I mean? That's not me. But I'm gonna pick Nashville, but I'm hoping for Carolina because even if it goes to Game 7, I think Nashville's gonna run out of home games, and this is their last home game. So I think once it goes back to Carolina, I think that's how that's gonna be.
I'm still going to take Carolina. I know what I just said, but I'm going to take Carolina 4-2 Kings. I have a hard, I just, they're, they've got to have been able to figure out a way to get through that blocking up the defensive zone type thing right now.
I agree.
I'm sure Brendan Moore's been looking at every angle, trying to find a way to penetrate that. And not only that, when you're playing like that, like the way Nashville has been playing, it's hard on the body. You block so many shots so over and over and over again, and I just think that it's going to start to break down today rather than Game 7. You can only take those shots off the ankles for so long that for so much before it really does start to wear a team down. I don't know how the Rangers did it back in the day. They seem to just keep on going and going and going with it. But most teams, but they didn't play necessarily like Nashville is either. It was a little more aggressive. Nashville's been playing a pretty passive game, and I think it's going to wear down this game. I think it's finally going to break down.
I agree, and you see what I'm doing though, right? I'm picking Nashville.
Yeah, because you want Carolina to win.
Right. See, that's how that works, right? Whatever team I pick, the exact opposite happens. I don't know. Of course, now that's not going to happen now because I just double double jinxed myself something like that. I guess I don't know. I don't know. Um, I'm looking forward to this game tonight. M- just because I want to see what happens. I
Yeah.
really want to see if Carolina is going to show up tonight and be able to take care of business like they
Well,
need
I
to.
think like saying that was it Lauren saying that Nashville's going to come out strong in the first period. I agree because
Oh
I think
yeah.
they know that they're going to run out of gas, so they better get ahead in the first period and then buckle it down afterwards. So yeah, I agree. They'll come out hard in the first period, and then we'll see what Carolina does with that. Uh,
Exactly. You know,
and
it's
there,
that
and
it's that old adage,
you got that for those fans. You got those fans in Nashville, and that is enormous. That is huge. They will give
right?
you
And
energy you never thought you had.
exactly, and it's the old adage. You know what I mean? If you go at it and you play to win, you know what I mean, and you don't play to lose, then you have a much better chance. And it's always better to play from in front than from playing from behind. You know what I mean? And so it's clear that Nashville is not one of those teams that's it, they can come back, but I wouldn't want to have to keep coming back all the time, all the time, all the time.
Yeah, that's the thing, and I think that's really wears you down after a while. Overall, I think Carolina's outplayed Nashville through this whole series. No, I mean at various times Nashville has had the upper hand, but I'd say 60 to 70% of the time Carolina has been the better team. Had more possession. They've had better shots. They've had everything. Saros has been just a beast, and Nedeljkovic. Saros never had.
Has been even just as good. Nedeljkovic has been just as good.
I wouldn't say just as good. That's
Well,
not.
I mean, but he's been
He's been good. Saros has been insane, and that's really what it comes down to in this series. I think Saros has been absolutely insane.
yeah,
He's
yeah, and that's really what I think is keeping them in the series.
oh yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? Because if it wouldn't be for him, I don't know. This would have been over, I think,
Well, if
already.
you switch goaltenders, it's over already. If Nedeljkovic was in Nashville, this is over already.
Yeah,
Which is why I was like saying all year long, why are they just going to roll with Nedeljkovic and Nedeljkovic? I like him, but he's a kid. He's a kid. He's young. They don't. Why would you want to? I don't. I don't get it. I don't get it. Now Carolina does things different though, and it probably will work out in the long run, because there's also the aspect of belief, and when you're building up somebody, that sometimes it's better to show a belief in them, even though you know you're probably not gonna win the cup that time, even though you could win the cup if you had someone else. In the long run, maybe that affects Nedeljkovic that you didn't believe in him that time. You know what I mean?
exactly.
There's
If you
great
if
coaches build belief in people. And truth is, in hockey, more than skill, if you don't have belief, you're done. If you don't believe, like when you see Montreal, when you see them on the bench like that, they're
yeah,
done. They don't believe in themselves. Yeah, Toronto's got more skill, but you can have more belief in yourself as a team to be able to do something. Minnesota is a really good example of that. Minnesota has all the belief in the world. They believe they can beat Vegas every game. And that's, if you do believe that, you can do it.
yeah. I mean, it's been proven over and over again. As long as you believe,
Hmm.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's a mentality, it's a mindset, it's like what we talked about with Boston, because Boston has won president's trophies and they've won cups with pretty much most of the core of guys that they have on the team right now, and they have that experience going into the playoffs. They've been there and done that before. They have that mentality that they don't expect to lose, they expect to win.
Hmm.
It's more of a shock that, oh, they lost. Well, what happened? Oh, did Tuukka Rask not play, or did somebody get hurt?
Hmm.
Okay, right. You know what I mean? So when you have that level of confidence, when you have that level of mentality that you know you're going into the game and you're kicking butt,
Hmm.
and I don't care, you're losing tonight. You can't. You don't beat teams like that.
Yeah,
You can't beat teams like that.
it compounds even further when you've done it too. Like with Boston, they had a strong belief in themselves. By the way, who was the guy that built up that belief in the Boston Bruins? It's Claude Julien, right? And Montreal fired Claude Julien. So
Yeah, there's an interesting little tidbit
isn't
for you.
that funny? Yeah. Yeah, so they believed in themselves before they won the cup. But once
Yeah.
you win and you have that belief, then you can just, you do, teams just do things. Pittsburgh Penguins, we've talked about it over and over again. They
Yeah,
didn't
they're
lose
another
because
team.
they didn't believe in themselves, except for the one player who doesn't seem to believe in himself. Uh, yeah, but besides
Well,
that, as a team,
look at
they
Tampa
believe.
Bay. Look at
Tampa
Tampa
Bay,
Bay. I
yeah,
mean, I know you don't believe that, but they believe that they were the better team and they showed out like they were.
yeah.
They basically walked into Florida and went like, "Pew! Oh, Florida, sorry. You got a little bit on my jersey there." Like that's kind of how it feels.
Hmm.
Like that's that sense that I get about Tampa Bay. If they were able to just come into Florida and just be like, "Yeah, Florida, okay." And the
Yeah.
next team that's going to come in is going to be like, "Oh, Carolina. Hello there. Welcome to my lair." You know what I mean? Like, all right, gosh. So, plus they're the defending champs. You know what I mean? So, you're going to need a team like Carolina that can come in there and go, "Oh, yeah? Well, I'm going to punch you in the mouth and then I'm going to outwork your butt."
Yeah.
I thought Florida was going to do that to Tampa Bay and they just didn't have it in them. You
Well,
know
and
what I
that's the
mean?
thing, though. I didn't see a team that didn't believe in themselves in Florida. They didn't have the talent to beat. If like Peyton said, they have Ekblad in the lineup. Um,
That would have been a different story. Yeah, I agree.
yeah, and also again, this the whole forget about. I don't know what they're going to do about the Bobrovsky situation, but
Yeah, that just turned out real ugly.
from what I've seen, Spencer Knight's going to get the bulk of the work next year, and that'll
And
help.
Drager is probably not going to be there. He's probably going to be gone, right? Because he's either going to get picked up by Seattle or somebody like Montreal
Or
or
Drigger? Oh, Drigger. Yeah, he's a free
he's
agent.
going to be gone.
He's
He's
a
going to
free
be
agent.
gone,
Yeah.
right?
Why, if you're Drigger, why would you sign back a
Right.
contract?
That's what I mean. Knowing full well that Spencer Knight's going to be coming up and you got Bob here, nobody's
Yeah.
going to take Bob.
No, no, no. The perfect place for Drigger would be Seattle, probably, because has a pretty good shot to try to be a number one there. Um, and so if Seattle does sign Drigger in the free agent window that they get, because they get a free agent window there, right? Then they don't pick anybody from Florida. So I'm pretty sure that's their pick from Florida. If they sign somebody that's a free agent from a team, because they get early free agency window, Seattle does. They get to
Okay.
talk to all the free agents before everybody else. And if they take somebody for as a free agent off of from your team, then that's their pick from your team in the expansion draft. You don't lose anybody else.
Well, now that makes things much more interesting,
Uh-huh.
don't it?
Tampa Bay will win the cup this year. I hope you're wrong, Michael. I hope you're wrong.
No, but I mean that makes things much more interesting though, especially with like teams that are gonna be, oh my gosh, they have all these people they need to sign. You know what I mean? And how's that's gonna affect teams that are gonna have all these free agents that are gonna be out there that, well, if Seattle's gonna be able to take a crack at them first,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean?
That's the way it
So
is. They're sort of out there. Either you got to sign them right away or give them up
that's
for
what I mean.
Seattle to
That's what I
sign them.
mean. That's
So
what I'm
you look
talking
at
about.
since we got like 7 minutes, we talked a lot about this. Everybody loves the Seattle talk. Uh, that free agency window opens, and like I said, I think Drigger will be high on their list. Why not? He's young. He's a relatively young. He's 27. He
Who
should be
else is
very happy to go there. He
who else is going to be on the list though?
Who else is going to be on the list for them? Now, if it's probably going to be pretty difficult to pick up a goaltender. There's a couple guys that I'd be looking at, but it also depends on the list of what other names are going to be available for that team. But really like Laurent Brossois. He had a great year in Winnipeg. It's he could be a great platoon with a guy like Drigger, and he's a free agent this year. So uh,
Okay.
that would be a guy that maybe would they would look at. So you would have a pretty good decent goaltender tandem. Uh, Now there's other things you got to look at. Like Minnesota's probably going to have to expose Talbot unless they trade him. If Talbot's there, maybe you want to look at that. Uh,
That wouldn't actually be a bad combination of Talbot and Drager up there in Seattle.
yeah, I almost like Brissois better than Drigger to tell you the honest truth.
Yeah, I think I would have to go with you on that. I would have
So,
to go, but
so
even Brossois and Talbot, that's still a pretty decent little tandem up there.
yeah,
You know who I think Mrazek might be is going to probably potentially be available too. I think you're going to see. No, you don't think so. What
no,
about
I think he'll be available. I wouldn't touch him.
Yeah, yeah. But what about the guy from Washington, uh,
Vanacek,
Vanacek?
he's a kid. He's a restricted. He's not part of it.
He's not
I don't even
okay.
think they have to protect him. But the other one that would be really interesting because they still haven't signed him yet. However, I think they probably will. But he's still out there as of right now. Is Philip Grubauer? He's going to be a free agent this year. But I think Colorado will sign him.
The chances of him hitting the open market, especially with them now in the second round this year,
Yeah, it's not likely. I'm sure they're going to sign him. They just haven't been talking because it's the
playoffs.
playoffs and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on that, but so it looks like, yeah, the first game of the second round is going to be on Saturday, New York versus Boston.
Saturday, New York versus the Islanders versus Boston. Okay, is it afternoon game or
Yeah.
late?
No, 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock?
8 o'clock.
And that's going to be in Boston too, right? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I don't know. My feeling about that series still, I think Boston's going to win that and win it fairly handily.
I'm with you. I think they would have won it even if Pittsburgh was there too, because that's what I had picked.
Yeah,
I had
yeah,
Pittsburgh against Boston.
yeah. I think for sure they would. As long as Jari was in that, there's no doubt about that. I think they would even have easier time than the Islanders did, because the Islanders. The thing I'm concerned about with the Islanders is their pop gun offense. Really, they don't have the greatest offense. They inconsistent offense. Where's Eberle been? Has he even scored a goal this series?
I
Like
don't know.
their their by committee offense against that top line, and they've got enough depth with Hall and Krejci. I think that top line could very well rip them apart. I don't think. I really think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a quick series. Unless again, it's Sorokin. Sorokin is what worries me there, because if he plays like it looks like he's becoming, he could win it almost all by himself.
That we will get to see.
Implicit's not happy with me.
Uh-oh. What
Yeah.
did you
Well,
say?
he's an Islanders fan.
Oh,
Remember
hey,
implicit.
listen.
Remember,
I picked the Islanders to win the
yeah.
division. And
Remember,
and
yeah. Remember implicit when I said the Islanders were going to tail off at the end of the season, and then you didn't talk to me for 3 days, but they tailed off at the end of the season, didn't they? Yeah, they did.
okay, but they still won.
Well,
I
Eberle has
mean,
2 goals. Sorry, when I watch, I have a hard time watching that series, but does he have 2 goals? I apologize. I haven't really saw him like he hasn't looked that great to me this year. Have you been watching that series? Have you really noticed Eberle? That being said, he's kind of one of those guys you don't notice a lot until he
right?
scores.
Yeah. But you know what though? What I think I've been noticing is I have actually been noticing him more, and the two guys that they picked up at the trade deadline have been showing up a little bit more
They've
in
been
the
playing a
playoffs.
little better. Yeah, yeah, he's
They've been
been
playing
playing
a
better.
little better, you know what I mean? But I'm still look. I still think that the Islanders are seriously missing Anders Lee.
Oh yeah, for sure. You
Okay,
can't really
and
replace
you
him.
have to factor that into what's going on here. I mean, to be honest with you, they beat Pittsburgh, but I don't. It's going to be a tougher road to hoe in Boston.
Let me look up the Islanders. You know what? I haven't even been looking at the who's been scoring type thing this year. It's kind of an experiment I've kind of had to not look at the point
Well, it's
producers.
been tough when you have the Connor McDavids who get 109 points in 56 games, and then you have Austin Matthews who scores 41 goals in
Yeah,
49
I
games
mean
or something
more
stupid.
towards the playoffs. I've been just sort of watching the games and I haven't been looking at who's really been doing the scoring. I just been because I think that sometimes sways my perception of how a player has been playing. Sometimes you can score points, but you're not playing well.
Right.
Overall, you're just, a guy like Eberle, what was it? 2 goals in 6 games, right? He had 3 points. Eberle is supposed to get more than that. But I didn't know he didn't have that. I didn't know he had 2 goals. Eberle is that guy that will get you your lucky goal every once in a while. Lucky isn't the best way to put it. He'll pot him just because of his speed and stuff. But I haven't really noticed him out there when he's been playing. And whenever he's playing like that, it's a disservice to his team because he has the capability of being way better. That's kind of what I said.
Right.
See, I didn't know Beauvillier had 7 points in 6 games because I haven't been watching that. But I would have
Yeah. He's
said
been playing really well. Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought Anthony Beauvillier has been their best player a lot of the games, and he just happens to pull 7 points in 6 games. Uh,
Exactly.
so yeah, that's Gabriel Pajot maybe has been their best, and Josh Bailey has been exceptionally good as well. So yeah, it's interesting. It's the first time I've really looked at who's scored and who hasn't. Um, but it'll be fun to see what they do in Boston. It's going to be fun.
I
I
agree.
think that
Looking
defense is
forward to it.
I think their defense is overmatched. I don't think Mayfield should be playing in a top four of anybody's top four. I do like Mayfield, but as a player, but I don't know. I shouldn't say that. He could play in the top four, but I think overall their defense on paper is lacking.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. And it's going to be really interesting how it's going to play out. Going to be really interesting how it plays out for sure. So,
Oh, we're over. We're done now, aren't
yep,
we?
yep,
Oh,
yep.
oh my gosh! Hockey News Report shows up right in the end. Game 7, baby. Uh, yeah. Anyways, that's our full 42, I suppose.
Yep.
It's been fun. We had lots of you in. Where were you all yesterday? Everybody's come in today to enjoy the frolic. Good for you. I'm glad you come. Come back tomorrow because it's awesome having you. Implicit, let's make a truce, my friend. Make a truce. Come back. Don't do what you did before where I don't show up for 3 days. That hurts me.
Oh, come on now.
Hurts me on my
That's okay.
insides. Makes me feel down.
He'll
Okay.
be all right.
All right. We'll try. Maybe we'll. Are you going to be on tomorrow, Steele?
Should be.
All right. So Steele will be back. I'll probably be back. I might even wear the wig again. I don't know. I forgot to wear the wig today. I just totally forgot. It's not at Five Guys Cleaning or anything like that. I totally forgot.
Five guys cleaning.
Yeah, Five Guys wig cleaning.
Oh,
I send it there every once in a while. They come here, all 5 of them, scoot up, pass them it. And it
okay.
comes
All
back
right.
all fresh and fluffy. All right, that's our full 42. We'll be here tomorrow between 3 and
Game
5
5.
Eastern time. And we'll have all the games to talk about and all of that. Habs do not win. Have a great day, everybody. Okay, bye.